Welcome to FishPal Live. I am here with my colleague Tom Carter. Hello, Tom.
Hi Anne, hi everybody. Hope you're all well and keeping well.
Well, last week you were off fishing. Where did you get to?
I was very lucky. I joined some friends of mine who'd taken the Junction for 2 days, and one of their pals sadly couldn't do the Tuesday, so I put my hand up and took his rod for the day. So yeah, we're very lucky and had a super day there.
And what was the fishing like, Tom?
For me, it was the first time on the Junction. The water levels were great. They were dropping. Very good fly water. Sadly, for myself and the other two guys, we didn't manage to connect with anything. But we gave it a really hard bashing with plenty of fly lines. It just hard going compared to the week before, which is superb. It was a little bit hard going last week.
Well, I don't think Junction were actually fully rodded last week because I noticed there was only one fish caught. So let's hope was it one of your party that caught the fish?
No, we didn't. We were only there. The guys were only there Monday, Tuesday. So because it's not gillied at this time of the year, you're only fishing 3 rods. So I don't know who was on for the rest of the week for the Wednesday, or so we were only there Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, well, the river, by the looks of it, it's from the bottom of the river catching fish all the way up to Bellside. Hashy Steel had one last week as well, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Early part of the week, the levels were quite good from the weekend, but they started to drop off incredibly quickly. And on Monday, Tuesday, we started to get this really sort of kind of a warm spell of weather in the Tweed. So a lot of the action was predominantly really sort of Kelso downstream. The levels are suiting the lower beats.
Yeah, because I noticed that Lower Bergham, they had 9, Bergham Dub, they had 16, Henderside with 14, and also as well as above, obviously Junction and Floors, you got Rutherford, they had 11. Gorgeous beat Rutherford is, isn't it?
Rutherford is it's a great beat. This year it's been fishing very well. Because of the flooding over the winter, I've not had time to visit it yet. There could well have been some changes, but it is holding quite a stock of fish. And I know some of the regular anglers and gillies on the Tweed, namely Mr. Martin Ritchie, our great Tweed reporter. Martin's been fishing there a bit as well, and he's had some phenomenal days. So yes, it's sort of come into its own this year. One thing I did hear a lot of last week when I was out and about was actually the word grilse, and the Tweed seems to be getting some grills coming into the system, and it'll probably be mentioned more and more, but it does seem to be a word and that's happening on a lot of other rivers as well, which is very encouraging. And possibly that's why Tilmouth were having good fun last week as well, that they were connecting with 1 or 2 grills. Speaking to Tony Averill at Horncliffe today, they said they're struggling, so they're catching fish, they're just not landing them, and apparently that seems to be mirrored now on quite a lot of the rivers, is that anglers are getting into fish, which is fantastic. It's just sadly they're not getting them in, and they're on for 2 or 3 minutes and they're falling off, and there's a lot of head scratching going on. But it's just one of those things. This is what can happen in the summer months when you're fishing.
Well, Tilmouth, they finished on 39 fish, and the lovely Martin Ritchie, superstar, having some fabulous fishing up and down in Rutherford. And huge thank you, Martin Ritchie, as well, for producing the weekly Tweed report. I fished Middle Pavilion on Saturday, and I would just like to confirm grilse. I did see a grilse, and the reason I saw it, because it jumped out a foot away from me, and I'm not joking. This fish jumped out. It must have been about 2 feet from the bank, and
very frustrating.
About there's me, everybody. I'm moving. It was about that size, and you had that, it was a bar of silver with that, do you know, that blue, that iridescent blue going across its body. It was just a beautiful fish, and that was Middle Pavilion. We saw a couple of sea tracks, that had been in there for some time. I actually connected with a few fish, and obviously that frustration as well, that you've got that when you see a fish, it like you think, oh, great fish, I'm going to catch a fish, and then when they go for your fly but they don't take it properly and they haven't turned, it is frustrating.
Absolutely, but that's kind of the drug about fishing. And that's what everybody enjoys about it. I mean, the concentration levels now when you're fishing, you want to make sure your cast's right. You want to make sure your fly's right in the water, and you never stop looking at your line and just looking to see what's happening. And you know, for some people, they've had some phenomenal days this season. It's all come right for them. Other people, you know, it has come right on certain days and not other days. But that's fishing. But the main thing is this year that there seems to be more fish around, and the chance of connecting, not connecting, seeing fish, it's all making to really a great day out. And you know, it's super at the moment.
And the Tay, the lovely thing with the Tay is that I know the hotels, they were opened up at the weekend, and obviously a lot of fish caught on the Tay. I know that our boss Mark Coburn, he was on the Tay for a couple of days last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Mark was up at New Tile. The hotels are now open. I was down at the Collingwood. Obviously, that's slightly different. The fact it's been open a little bit longer than everywhere else, but the hotels are open. There are some slight changes within the accommodation providers going forward this year. But at the end of the day, if you book your fishing, you need to be going. We don't know how long the changes are going to be in place for, but you know, the hotels are open. You got your fishing booked June, July, or well, we're in sort of end of July now, August, September, October onwards. Really, you are entitled to go and enjoy your fishings again, and it could be an awesome summer. You know, just every day's a bit different at the moment, but that's typical for July weather patterns.
And also, as well as the Isle of Mouth, beat below McClure, they actually started fishing last week. 44 fish for last week. Really stands out on the Tay catches. Obviously McClure, they had another 10. Really happy customers. New Tile, 5 fish. Unfortunately, Mark didn't connect with one, did he?
Doesn't sound like it. You're always going to get this sort of summer fishing. Isle of Mouth is always, it's one of the top catches beats on the river. If the Isla and the Eric are running low on water, they do stack up there, and that can give you some phenomenal sport there. But you know, going downstream all the way down there, you've got fish ponds. They can do well. You know, there's lots of other sort of lower beats at the moment with the weather patterns that we've got. And looking at the forecast this week, it's a bit all over the place. They are suggesting a bit of rain possibly coming in on Wednesday. But then that's kind of sort of really it, and the temperatures staying in the late teens, which for some people it's okay. A lot of people sort of don't really like it; they'd like it a bit cooler. So yeah, there is still plenty of fishing available, but it's sort of more the middle lower beats at the moment on the current water levels.
And I also would say as well is that if you're going to fish the Tay and you can't fish the beat that you're fishing, maybe because it's flooded, etc. Get yourself on the tributaries, the Isla, the Eric, because the thing is that these fish are going up there, and there's some absolutely cracking fishing to be had, and we don't get the kind of reports on the tributaries, but honestly, I would highly recommend it, and get yourself up to Kate Fleming's as well, because they've always got the latest knowledge as well up there. So what's your thoughts on that, Tom?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It all depends logistically where you are and kind of what the team want to do. A lot of the fishing, if you're into ones and twos, your tributaries are always quite a good option depending on where you are and where they're feeding in. And I've been fished the Eric actually just around Blairgowrie. some super fishing there, a bit of everything, quite quirky. But you know, it's a river that's fed up by Glen Shee, so it can run quite clear, whereas the Tay can be dirty. But then, you know, you can struggle on the Isla a bit because of the heavy farming in and around it. But you know, it certainly gives you an option to go and fish some of the smaller rivers and have fun if you are off the river for the day.
And I also think as well is that, because obviously with the Tweed, it's very much people are, if the main Tweed isn't fishing, they'll be fishing the tributaries. And I think with the Tay, we've got to get people into that. If the main Tay isn't fishing, get yourself on the tributaries, because at Dunkeld, if you're staying at Dunkeld, it is 20 minutes in the car to get to Blairgowrie. Because
yeah, absolutely, and you know, to be brutally honest with you, the angling clubs actually suit much better because you can just go and buy a ticket and go.
Yeah.
Whereas a private beach, it's not going to work on that, because quite rightly, they want people in by 9 o'clock in the morning. You don't know until, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning what's going to happen on that day. But there are outlets, and it does give you an opportunity. So yeah, if you fancy it, brilliant. It can give you a few hours of something a bit quirky, not obviously at the gilly prices, which can be nice.
And get yourself off to Kate Fleming's as well, because obviously Kate does have she does have day permits for angling clubs up there. And give her a ring and pop in the shop and get yourself some flies, because I know that she stocks all the Caledonia flies as well. So she's got a really, really good set of flies there. The D highlight of the D last week, Kenton and Middle Blackall, they had 15 fish, and lower B and Bankery, they had 22. That's quite a nice week's fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Spoke to Lawrence last week. He was in good form. They'd had actually a cracking week the week before because they had the water levels right. The junction pool there will always do, or historically has always done well with the grills runs with the river. Fish wanted to come and run the Fuke. Fuke's low at the moment, so they do tend to back up in and around that Bankery area. But there were fish caught further upriver as well. So again, kind of down to the water levels. Some days are different. Some beats react differently to water levels. But no, Lawrence was very pleased, and I say the wood grills is being banded around a little bit more now. So they had a good week last week, slightly quieter than the week before. But the Tweed mirrors that as well. But they had a phenomenal week. And then just with a lack of water, it getting a bit warmer again, the fish have gone a little bit quieter. But doesn't mean to say there's not good sport to be had.
Oh, I know. And I had a friend who fished the Bewley, and absolutely a stunning time last week, which I'm going to be putting in the newsletter as well. And also as well as that, the Spey, they had a canny week as well, but we don't have all the catches, do we, for the Spey, unfortunately?
No, we don't. They've got them. The space spread out at the moment. We're not hearing much from Tolkien. Gordon Castle beats. Will they be fishing well? Castle Grant beats. We're still trying to find out what the state of play is with their fishing. They are tentatively putting it back on at the moment. Restrictions are a little bit heavy, but there does seem to be fish throughout the whole system. But it's still a bit patchy because not everybody's fully back open yet. So the Spade, normally you'd expect good fishing this time of year, and certainly, you know, in and around Rothy's, Clegallachie, it's been doing pretty well.
And the other thing as well is with restrictions, because I know we've just mentioned restrictions. We don't set restrictions, do we? We actually encourage owners not to put restrictions on, because it does affect that sale of that fishing, doesn't it?
Yes, and we've got a good working relationship with many owners and gillies on a lot of the river systems in northern England and Scotland. And when it comes to restrictions, we would always advise that the winter time is a time, if you're wanting to sell your fishing, to put the restrictions on, because you always got a good amount of travelling rods that will come in via overseas and from England and Wales and Ireland as well. But more as you start pushing into late spring, and the bigger parties or the smaller parties of 3, 4, 5, 6 people, they've normally booked because accommodation ties in hand with that, with the holiday cottages or the hotels. Once you start heading out of that period, we wouldn't really recommend restrictions. But I say it's down to the individual beats, how the beats work, how the placement works. But you know, it's always a work in progress. If you are struggling and you are a single rod, then please do contact us. We will do our utmost to try and get you some fishing. You know, if it's a 3-day 2 rods at this time of the year, they might easily actually work it down for one, you know, 3 days for 1 rod. But don't be put off by it. It's a conversation piece, but we'll work our utmost to try and get you the fishings. So just use the messaging centre, send us an email, and with the dates and the beat that you're wanting, we'll try and come back to you with a yes or a no.
Yeah, and this morning we actually, and I've just put a ticker tape along the bottom to say visit fishpal.com, and you'll be able to get all the information that you need. Just go onto our homepage because we have the help desk on there. You can just click through. All the availability is sitting there, and that's one of the things that we do. If there's availability, we put it out. We don't hide it, do we, Tom?
No, we don't at all. And you know, we do our utmost to get as much accessible fishing as possible for you. That's what we do. You know, that's our business at the end of the day. But you know, there are instances where the restrictions are possibly a little bit heavy, and you know, it's always worth a conversation with us. We'll do our utmost.
Definitely. And this morning, it's Monday morning, and we had a lovely fish come in, didn't we, from Ollie on the Egton estate. And I've popped that onto the FishPal Facebook page, and I've had people saying that sea trout was a 12-pounder. We don't put sizes on. We like...
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everybody's been through this. We've done the comments for too many years now, you know, to put the weights on. At the end of the day, just enjoy that person's fish, you know, regardless of size. It's still a magical experience, and a fish like that, absolutely to die for. You know, we're not going to start banding weights around because it just infuriates too many daft comments. So, you know, everybody enjoy the fishing. And again, you know, all the rivers are a bit different, and Yorkshire started off pretty well. Down on the Ure, they were picking away at some early fish. The Egton down with Ollie Foster there in North Yorkshire is very much more of a sea trout river, but it's just so encouraging to see the size of sea trout in it. And maybe this is possibly to do with the taking off of the netting between Hull and Berwick. Well, time will tell. But it does seem to be, on the sea trout side of things, very, very encouraging to see the numbers of sea trout that seem to be coming around, but also the size and quality of sea trout this year. And you know, it just gives you another species to target if the salmon have been a bit on the quiet side. And if you get, you know, a sea trout 3, 4, 5, 6 up to teens in weight, that's just a phenomenal experience. And you could almost start asking questions, why do you need to go to Chile to catch sea trout when you've actually now potentially getting big sea trout in the British Isles? So, you know, they're there at the end of the day.
Or Argentina as well.
Absolutely.
Before we go, last week we did have a little bit of a problem with our river levels. And we just want people to know as well that if any bits of the site are down, do let us know. But also as well is sometimes it really is out of our control, and we are as frustrated as the people who are actually looking at the site. And this is why I've put along at the bottom, just check out the help desk on the site, because we will update you if any bits of it have actually you know, we can't get you that information. So because I know that on social media there's been a few people who haven't been very kind, have they, Tom?
We've had a bit of a rough fortnight with it all. At the end of the day, you're always going to have an odd technical issue with a website. Okay, this particular instance actually came from SEPA, and they had a technical issue at their end, which then didn't update our end. So it's not something that we can kickstart. We have to go back to SEPA, and then there is basically this almost of a chain of command within the SEPA as to who's doing what and when. So bear with us on this. It is frustrating, you know, and it always tends to happen when either things are basically rising into flood or dropping very, very low. It's out of our control. It's down to SEPA at the end of the day. And obviously we work on it as soon as we possibly can to get these things right. But, you know, it will happen from time to time, but it's not the be all end all, or we hope it's not. You know, that it's going to ruin your day. But as I say, bear with us. You know, we take it. We get as frustrated with this type of thing as you do. So obviously keep an eye on things, and we will try and get stuff up and running as soon as possible. But as I say, in some instances, it's not our fault. So just bear with us on that.
Yeah, and also as well is that we've got the help desk. You can just pop a message across there, and we are actually looking at. We're a very, very small team, aren't we, Tom?
Yeah, we are. It's a small company. We do our utmost, and you know, with the Facebook Lives, which you started, you know, in when we were on proper lockdown, we're trying to get more and more people involved through all corners of the industry. So, you know, as an industry, we're all working really, really well. But you know, when it comes to technical things, sometimes it's not always. It's the same as a car. Your car doesn't necessarily always start, or something goes, or the battery goes, or you get a blowout. Websites are exactly the same thing. Then they're not always guaranteed to work all the time. It is frustrating when they go wrong, but you know, you normally get somebody to get them fixed and get them back on the road again. And that's what we're doing here as well. But the main thing is we're trying our utmost for you guys to get as much fishing on as we can, so we can get out and enjoy it. And if you got any questions, just email us in by the help desk, and you know, hopefully we'll catch you out on the river in due course.
Yeah, because we're all like really genuine, and we all would just want people to go out there fishing, to go and enjoy the fishing. And we look at the help desk over the weekend as well. So when we're not at work, we'll actually log in as well, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We're mobile, so we can check on things. And if there is anything uber urgent, people will always tend to look at it and come back to you as quickly as possible. But at the end of the day, you know, there is plenty of time to look at things and orchestrate your holidays. And if you can do more of that going in advance, then the easier it all becomes for everybody.
And can we just thank as well? Can we actually thank everybody who books fishing through FishPal? Thank you so much. All the owners that put fishing on there, and all the gillies, the guides, the boatmen that add their fishing to the site. Because without all this information just coming into the site, it's creating the information that everybody wants, and we are really grateful. So
no, absolutely. And you know, without you all, it would be you know, it'd be slightly different. But you know, I think everybody's enjoying it. It's been a tricky start to the year. But there's lots of positives to take from it at the moment, and the main thing is that there's more positivity in the fish and actually what's in the river system. So, you know, don't hardball your gillies if it's a bit hot, sunny, and other things have gone doer. That's not what it's about. It's about going out and enjoying yourself for your day. If you get a fish, brilliant. You get 2 fish, fantastic. If you get 3 fish, I'll probably retire for the rest of the season. But you know, that's what it's all about. So yes, thanks to everybody. You know, thanks for booking online. As I say, we have slightly changed things, but at the end of the day, we're only ever an email away. And you'll always get a call back or get an email back. So we're always here to help. So we just sort of slightly changing the way that we've done and going forward. That's all. So from me, have a great week. Enjoy your fishing. I know a lot of you will start heading off on family holidays in August, so enjoy that. And keep an eye on things. We've got the report writers doing as much as we can for us, you know, going forward. And hopefully we'll have a good summer and a good early autumn. So we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.